Hello and welcome to Classics and More. I'm Niamh Kelly and today we're going to be listening to the instrumental music of Rossini. Attendance at operas in the 18th and early 19th centuries involved a lot more than just musical pleasure. It really served two purposes: musical entertainment and social interaction. And interaction that was not always for a noble purpose. Here you could find out all the local gossip: who was having an affair with whom, what business deals were going down, who the newcomers in town were, and what they did for a living. In fact, operatic performances were a hive of gossipy undercurrents. Conspiracies were hatched and business deals settled, not to mention the amount of flirting that went on. And all of these activities went on in both levels of society, the upper class and servant class. The theatres brought together a whole host of servants and other people who would perform various services. Someone had to collect tickets, sell refreshments, and of course deliver in-house espionage, bringing all this information back to their employers. Did you know that Isabella is seeing John Brown every Tuesday afternoon? No, it's true. I saw them myself while I was walking down King Street. Well, I never, and her only after getting rid of poor Jean de Rigueur. Now, getting back to the opera of the 18th and 19th century. Audiences in those days were not quite as reserved as we know them today. People banged doors, walked about, greeted their friends, talked and laughed, and this was the norm. That's why most of the overtures begin with a big bang, as if to say, "Will you be quiet? We are now about to begin, so sit down, shut up and listen." In this piece we also hear the famous Rossini crescendo, which was to become his trademark in later years. This is made up of a repeated section which is built on two chords. With each repetition there is the addition of more instruments which add to the growing volume of the crescendo. Indeed, Rossini later became known as Signor Crescendo. So, sit up, keep quiet and listen. That was an excerpt from my recent show on Rossini, with an excerpt from the overture to The Barber of Seville, played by the Filoni Chamber Orchestra Budapest and conducted by Will Hamburg. Classics and More transmits weekly on www.crcfm.ie and can also be listened to on podcast. I'm Niamh Kelly and I hope you've enjoyed this excerpt of Classics and More.